And welcome back to another thrilling scene for Lost Cub. But wait, we will not be starting here at the Batcave. Oh no. These two, Jane and Anton, have been on the road. On the fucking road, heading out into what seems suspiciously like the middle of nowhere. Now, what cues you off that, you're going somewhere interesting is as you're driving along, you've been bullshitting the whole way. You know, I'm sure Anton's mentioned that this is some shit he needs a Theurge for. You guys can fill in the blanks on the bullshitting. But the real moment of truth is as you're driving, you finally get off the highway, you get onto more of an off beaten path kind of road. And the sign you seen, Jane, the sign you see, just whisk right past this, trundling down this, I mean, it's technically asphalt.
So, especially when the bumpy road kicks in and she becomes more alert. It's like, change of terrain. I can feel this in my butt. And she just looks up as what time of day? Is it night or is it day?
When would you like to take her out there, Anton?
Mid-afternoon. So it's day.
Early afternoon.
It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd say.
3 in the afternoon. That's a song. Anyway, about with a decent amount of sunlight, she looks up and just sees the sign. And it's just a moment of what?
Looks over. What?
Is this why you wouldn't tell me where we're going?
Oh, you saw the sign?
I mean, how can you not? Look
Dinosaur
at
King, it's Dinosaur Kingdom, Jane. Looks over quite seriously.
Clearly, I can see that. It's closed, so...
It's been closed for a while.
Is this going to be some, Jurassic Park kind of shit? Is this what you're bringing me into?
Kind of, but I'll explain when we get here. It's easier.
All right.
Just prepare for nostalgia.
There's just a moment of just really?
Oh, what's wrong with nostalgia? Don't you like nostalgia?
It's kind of difficult.
I mean, you can sort of semi-remember nostalgia. Come on. Just gives a shrug. It's like partial nostalgia. Like nostalgia that could happen, and then when you come back, you're like, oh, look, I remember this. And then that's nostalgia, see? Who knows? Maybe back in the day, you were the Dinosaur Kingdom Queen.
You're terrible at this. You do know that, right?
What?
Just keep driving.
I'll explain on the way, though. There's some things we got to do that I'm going to need a Theurge for.
All right. Well, I take it that's why I'm here.
And considering nods and considering what I saw, I think it might be just more than your typical oogie boogie deep and dark in the night spirit. I think there might actually be something here. Now, the reason why I brought you in particular is because of what you're associated with.
All right.
So, like I said, I'll explain more when we get out, but yeah. I think there's a lot more than meets the eye with this thing I found.
So out of curiosity, what brought you this far out?
This is a place my friend Susie used to go. She likes to take pictures of abandoned places. She used to come here as a kid. Been here a few times with her, she likes to take the art shots, you know what I'm saying?
The art
nice.
shots.
Yeah, you take it in landscaping type shit. You take it like a shot, as he's pulling up the car, he'll turn and point. You take like a landscape view and specific shots, and people go nuts for that type of thing.
As he pulls up, pointing out the view. This is your entrance.
Yeah, no, it's
Dinosaur Kingdom. Smart game. Do you know the way the mansion's really old, right? You look over.
well, yeah. I'm guessing that this is pretty old too.
Not as old, I'd say. It's been out of business. Thinks to himself, how long has it been out of business? Like 8 years.
It's been out of business a while, yeah. Like it's been over 5 years, and after that, I mean, are you really keeping track anymore?
Well, I would never say this place is as old as the mansion. Did think the 1920s had, that. She just points towards the giant, plastic T-Rex.
But she kind of takes pictures of old things like that. Like inside, it's a lot more weathered down and stuff. So she'll take that, and people will put it up on the internet, being like, "Meaningful quote this," and then a picture of like an abandoned place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it. I mean, everyone's got to have a hobby. I mean, if she likes it, that's all that matters, right?
I mean, she makes money out of it, so.
I mean, even better.
So I got a call from her, and an accident had happened where part of the building had come down on top of her. Now, thankfully, didn't pierce anything. Held her up, got her healed up pretty fine. But there was worm taint. Big worm taint. I cleansed her and went to check the other side. And there was this weird, smoky, I'm assuming a bane or spirit or some kind of it, lurking there. And there was a lot of it. Now, I don't remember this place having a fire. But it looked like it was, and it looked a lot older, so I'm guessing there's something behind this.
You want to make a wits check to remember what you learned?
Yes. Good thing I do. I have. And would quick thinking come into play for this as well? Because
not necessarily, since this is still just trying to remember.
Still 4.
That's still 4. No, what you'll remember is that it's not that the whole part got taken down by a fire, obviously. I mean, look at it. Look at the wonderful repair it's in. It's so classy. But there was a big museum building that they tried to make kind of a horror house, but albeit still as quirky and colorful as the rest of the place. And at one point, that particular building burned to the ground, and it was the start of this place going downhill and finally being abandoned.
Were there any fatalities in that fire?
Oh, is a really good question.
That I would remember.
Since I don't think you Blue Book doing any special research on it, you're not sure. I'm sure you're suspicious that there are.
Yeah, well, considering the spirit.
But like the owner survived. You can't remember offhand Susie mentioning anyone dying there. She knew about the fire.
I haven't done much research into it, but there might have been someone, might not. We might do more when we get back, but I think we better check this place out in terms of at least what it looks like on the Umbra, at least what we can see. Maybe start unpacking the pieces of a puzzle, particularly if it's this big.
I completely agree.
Yeah, he just gets out of the car and starts, hawking in, hands in his pockets.
And Jane will follow suit, get out the car.
Oh yeah, you have to walk through the little train car. That is actually the entrance. You imagine that there was someone there, like, taking or selling tickets at one point, maybe. As you do head in, you bypass a classic old wooden palisade with this beautiful sign on it. Which might explain the travesties that you will bypass on your journey.
He just kind of looks at it for a second. What?
Back. Quirky. Meant to be, quirky.
Oh, great.
To be fair, she did show me something which is just absolutely Creepy.
All right. So you guys head in. Start grabbing some pictures here. So you head in and you bypass let's see, where's that one? You bypass some buildings at the entrance. You know, they've they're obviously in a state of disrepair. All of these statues and stuff are kind of mucky from, years of like rain splattering dirt up on them, wear and tear. They're not looking as stable as they might once have been. But you bypass some of this, and as Anton's leading you along, he seems to have a vague idea where he's going. You passing this
what?
guy.
You cut out. You cut out in the middle of that for me. I was like, "Bah."
All I heard was we. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah.
Oh, you're just
cut out for the. You cut out for that bit, so I hadn't heard what you
okay.
said. Sorry.
That is okay. You're just bypassing and seeing more ridiculous things as you go. I'm just kind of giving you a slideshow. The best part is you look over to where one of the restaurants is, and there's something just bright fucking green that kind of grabs your eye, and you glance over, and that little fucker is terrifying.
That what? That's fake, right? Please tell me that's fake.
I've checked it for warmth. It's fake. You're good. I checked. I actually triple checked that bitch.
I'm not surprised. Looks like that frog guy that we found.
Yeah.
Jeez. That tongue and everything. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a little exciting. So as you're walking down the trails, heading along towards this place, Anton, like I said, Anton seems to know where he's going. But man, this place is exciting. You see such thrilling vistas. Come on now, Minicam. Oh, you decided to put it there. That's fine. There you go. Very exciting place. Let's not forget too. We'll hit this one too as you're going along. So you're going along, and someone with a very creative soul, one might say. But eventually, you'll break through the trees, following these very exciting signs, very helpful. But eventually, you break around through the trees, and you see this lovely place, albeit down a chimney currently.
Points. That's where the chimney came down.
And this is a place.
Nods.
Yeah, Jane will go up inside. Have a look.
All right. So you walk up the steps and kind of glance around, and yeah, just saunter right in. It's it's the burned out shell of a building. This chimney happens to still be up. One of the others, a smaller one, more of a narrow model. Like you can still see the little, base of it is still there. And I mean, it's pretty clearly like fallen over. Some of it is still mortared together in hunks. It's pretty fucking clear exactly where it fell. But yeah, you wander in, and for the moment, everything is it's just ruins.
So Jane, as she goes in, will actually, I guess, and there is that kind of like layer of rubble on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of brush bits and pieces to the side with her feet, just to like see if there's anything that remains. It kind of might even point towards what this building could have been. Just having a walk around, scraping a bit here and there, just having a look.
Sure. Go ahead and give me, I guess, kind of an investigation. Let's do investigation. And Anton, let me know if you go in.
No, he won't go in yet. He'll kind of stay on the outside. He'll even say it's probably better to stay on the outside if we're transitioning over. If we do it a ways back as well, so the thing doesn't see it. It seems to restrict itself mainly to that area. That's the thing.
Oh no.
Seems to be more concentrated around, pointing.
Yeah. Fair enough. But something's on this side that might give us a clue to why it's gripping onto this place on the other side.
I'm thinking that's the case, but going in is going to be tough. That's what she likes to primarily stay. She doesn't come out. She stays.
That's why we'll have a look on this side first.
Yeah, just keep an eye. This thing fell on Susie from her side, so.
And that's my investigation roll, Katie.
Yep, I'm seeing you. So you putter around and, you're not digging, you're not scavenging, you're just kind of poking things around with your feet every so often, like nudge something over to see what's under it. Just kind of carefully rooting, looking, investigating. And I mean, there's a lot of hunks of like gnarled, like the the metal frames under some of the furniture. I mean, you can see that some of this is panels of like flooring from even above, because like there's the really scorched laminate type stuff under all the debris, but then there's obviously big pieces that have come down from above. This is definitely at least 2 stories, but since you got 3, as you're poking around at one point, kind of towards the front where you imagine like the entrance sort of area would be, actually up against one of the walls, you find some glass slag, essentially, and as you're poking around, you find really scorched and kind of slightly warped, look like little like plaques and things. Maybe one of them used to be a trophy, but they must have used cheap metal. The plaque's okay, but the trophy is, yeah, it's slag too.
Oh yeah, no, she kind of sees the shine underneath the even through the dirt and ground. You can still kind of pick out, that shine. As she sees it underneath the rules, just kind of kicks it out the way and actually will bend down and pick up one of the plaques just to have a read.
All right, yeah, and it's I mean, all of them seem to be. You find like 2 or 3 that are properly legible, and a couple more that really aren't. But you get the gist; it's probably all along the same lines. And it's various kind of awards for such a large artistic installation, for basically for the man's work that he must have put into not only this building but the entire park. There's a lot of acknowledgments there. You find even like some fucked up pieces of like glass, and it's hard to tell what. Maybe there were photos there or clippings at some point. But it seems like this is where various accolades were kept, particularly for the owner and artist of this park.
Jane will stand up with one of the plaques in hand, just kind of take a step to the side to poke out the door to Anton. Well, I'll tell you what, I am officially surprised. This place, holds out the plaque, actually won awards.
Huh. Did it? Looks over.
By looks, there's a good number of them.
And Jane, since you have hung around for a while, give me an alertness check.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give the alertness check, all right. No, I'm not.
All right, you are good. Continue on.
I just like, yeah. Awards to name's gone, but it's definitely just fancy enough to be an award. Kind of brassy metal. Makes sense, right?
Just gives a nod.
So at a guess, this would be owner's office slash kind of like actual historical museum, maybe. I don't know. Could have been.
Maybe. That's the thing. It's kind of hard to say what it was. It's so broken down.
Yeah, definitely fired up by the looks of it.
Just gives a nod, idly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, want to take a look on the other side?
Yeah, let's do the ways back.
Anton, have you poked your head past the door jam?
He'll stick his hand slowly in past the door first. I'm not sticking my fucking head in. I've seen horror movies.
All right.
Just all right. So I want to say, just because for Jane, Anton, I guess, how do you do this? First
He'll
of
kind
all,
of,
because-
you know, when you come in the border of the door, like get back to the doorway picture again, because it's kind of hard to see, if you don't mind, Katie.
Go back to this.
Yes. See that big doorway in the center where I'm assuming that's what
the
building
archway.
looks like. The archway. He'll stick his hand through the archway. You know what I mean? And kind of, so he can just take a step back almost instantly, but he'll stick his hand through it very slowly, as if he's just like, all that you've seen these movies where they like push against the portal and push. It's that type of thing. He just sticks his hand through.
Like he expects something to happen. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Jane already inside the building sees him kind of cautiously doing this, watching his own hand, and he's just like, Anton.
Give me another
Yeah.
alertness check, Jane.
Because that's weird behavior.
Maybe
Fucking
just a
do, like,
scotch.
Like, you let me walk in here, now you're scared to come in here. That's not good.
It's not a good sign.
That's 1. Diff 7.
One's enough, and here's the thing: you'll realize it's not until you finally catch a whiff of it. And I mean, this place has been burned out for years. There should be no scents behind. Like, most of what you've been smelling until now is earthy because it's being grown over and the stuff gets soggy now and then. You're kind of kicking it over. You're getting mostly like earthy dirt smells. But especially you notice him doing that. You're looking around like, the fuck? And you finally catch the faintest kind of, that lingering smoky kind of charcoal smell and realize a little belatedly that you're not like dangerously so, but maybe just a little shorter of breath. Not enough that it even like tinged on your fucking compass until now. Not until you caught the smell, but
Yeah, and she'll just kind of stand there. Oh.
Looks
Right.
over because the theaters is the barometer. Yeah, you feel that?
Definitely do now.
I told you, there's something here.
Must be definitely something if we're feeling it this side.
That's what I'm saying. It's big.
in a
But
weird, like mid-sentence, it happens. There's kind of a little bit of a crumbling noise, and it's not like the fucking doorway doesn't collapse, but like a bit of like, it's kind of like it settles a little bit. Things just shift, and Anton kind of gets rained on with little bits of like dirt and flakes of stone and mortar.
He just puts the hand back, takes a couple of step backs. You see that?
My only question is, why is he doing it to you and not me?
I threatened to kill it.
Oh.
Considering it had my girlfriend in there.
Yeah, no. Understandable, but that makes sense.
And it was worm tainted. So it has to die.
Well, yes, but way to piss the thing off. The big scary thing that we don't know what it is.
I know. Like I said, I got hot. And just holds up his hands
I'm not blaming you. It's just understanding turn of events. That's all. All right. Well, just literally just cast the fucking black light. I don't need this anymore. Whoosh into the pile of rubble.
All right, let's do this a couple of steps back. We'll walk over and look to one of the empty puddles because it fucking rains here like nobody's business.
I do. Are you
And I
getting,
will-
staying up on the walk there, heading down the stairs? Like, how far away are you getting?
I mean, Jane
Pretty
is
far
going
away.
down the stairs.
Yeah, downstairs. Like I said, pretty far away.
Because, like, I can feel this on this side. I am not going that close to this
exactly.
damn thing.
No, pretty far away. Yeah, definitely pretty far away.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you guys. It's not that hard to find a puddle or something. I mean, fuck, I'm sure one of you has something in your pockets you can fucking buff up real fast. So, yeah, you can step across. And the point of interest, Anton has seen them before, Jane hasn't. Around the door jamb there, you step across, and it's still a wreck, albeit it looks a lot more recent. It looks freshly burned down. There's bits of, like that smoldering smoke trailing out of bits of the house. Not like it is still on fire. Maybe there are, places where the ash is still hot and there's kind of coals remaining. But all in all, it looks like the remains of exactly this. Just a lot fresher, a lot more scorched, and particularly around the door jamb where Aunt Tom was standing, these have bloomed out. And they look, like the picture, they look like they're made of ash. With little like trailing cinder, like it's a root shape, but it's definitely more of a scorch mark that trails up towards where it cracked.
Jane will look at it, kind of catch your eye on one of these, and just, it's not what I was expecting.
No, but they breed more of them in there. Points at the house.
Oh no, but I was expecting like this thing to literally be spitting fire and
No.
Have you seen Monster House? I was expecting Monster House.
You look over. Fire doesn't usually kill you if a fire breaks out first. Smoke.
No. As you never know what to expect on these kind of things.
I imagine it operates on the same logic of that fire. Fire comes last.
By the looks of it, this fire's long gone. This is just what's left.
Just gives a nod.
Yeah, you can definitely imagine that overall, besides this weird fluke, it looks kind of like you imagine it must have looked after they got most of the fire put out. So still smoldering, definitely covered in soot and nastiness, but it's kind of freeze-framed in that point as the fire was mostly snuffed. It doesn't go back far enough for some reason. Like most places you go, and if there's an umbral presence, it's usually the building itself. So, you know what? Give me an intelligence check. You can both do it, though Jane will get a slightly lower diff because they urge. And I want to.
Intelligence what?
Intelligence what? Occult?
Yeah, we'll go with occult since I haven't done lores.
Fuck the law.
I think I know what my diff is, but I at least got 2.
I got 2.
I don't know.
And you have got 2. So, you know what? Anton does pretty well on just previous experience. Jane has been learning a little bit more about it, so she might come to the conclusion quicker with less experience. All in all, it's one of those things where you've noticed that while the Umbra tends to keep things or show them as they left the strongest impression, certain events can leave a much stronger impression than the place literally did. So the idea is that the strongest impression this place left was when it burned. So whatever it accomplished in its time as a standing building, whatever happened here prior to that fire, the fire was probably the most pointed instance in its history, and so it is what has stuck. It is what's been remembered the strongest. And as you guys are watching and thinking and pondering on this, the flowers finally, they do have that little bit of a glow to them, but like ashes and, barely there coals do, they eventually dim out, and, as the breeze shifts, finally just kind of blow away like ash.
Were they doing that before?
Nod.
Right. So to guess whatever they are is a byproduct of what's actually in there, then.
Oh yeah, no, they come out of her. It.
Just kind of like, holds up a finger. Her.
Yeah, he just gives a nod.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Like she extends her hand, the flowers emerge. I cleanse the place, and I notice the flowers retrace back to her. It's like she's the focal point.
We're saying this thing is definitely tainted.
I checked it. It was strong worm taint. It even tainted part of Susie just by being there.
All right.
Think about it. If something, the worm is associated with death mainly. The cycle of it, right? Doesn't have to be doesn't have to be human death. We're thinking, look at this place. Look what it did.
I wouldn't use the word death.
Not in terms of, from what I understand from spirits, is that the worm twists it. Its original design is death, clearly, but it's twisted.
Speaking of death.
And he'll look over, and again, he's getting used to more and more of Jane's freaky appearance, but he'll say, you are Gaia's natural conclusion of that. Do you get me? Every beginning, every end. But we notice that the worm reanimates things. We see that, right? Think about it. These things are sometimes beyond killable.
I would have used destruction rather than death.
Like I said, you're the theurge, not me, but this is just from my... You know, he gives the kind of...
I know. Well, best go say hello then, I guess.
Just keep in mind, hard to see, so stay on the border. Don't actually go in.
I'm not going in there.
Just gives a nod, you know, lets her take the lead on this, because again, she's the theurge.
And if you see me going in there...
Oh, I got you.
She just nods. And she'll start walking up the stairs. And she'll go towards where the archway still kind of stands.
Right.
Are there actually any of these flowers still on the outside of the building after that kind of gentle breeze blew a few away?
You might spot little buds here and there, like clinging to windows, but they seem to cling mostly to the inside. You'll notice that, especially as you walk up, there's the smoke wafts out, but most of the effect is on the inside of the building.
Yeah, no, she's gonna go up to the archway and peer in properly.
So what you get to see, looking from the archway, looking properly in and around, there's definitely more of these. In fact, it's almost garden-like. They look like they've been grown up in some areas. There are patches of them that splay over the floor. They're up one of the chimneys. They climb and bloom, and it now and again some of them will blow off as ash, and more will just kind of bloom up in their place. There's kind of a natural cycle to it. They don't just glow pretty forever, but they replace themselves pretty readily. Now, more to the point, since you're up and in the doorway, you will see her in there. And while she's reaching up and probably, idly, it looks almost more than anything like she's tending the flowers, but Jane, she has a hand up in there like again, very much like a normal woman would tend a flower garden. Touching, arranging, but her eyes are set out through that window on Anton. And there's definitely like the same kind of dull ashy glow, that kind of red coal color. It's the same color in her eyes.
I'm still gonna do a sense worm check in the background. At least get one success. She's still worm tainted, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh no, Jane will see him. He stiffens because it's almost like he registers himself. Yeah, the bitch is worm tainted.
And how solid does she look?
She seems to pretty well maintain, like, she billows. Like, there's kind of a fogginess, like, there's definitely a smoky presence inside the building. You get the feeling you might have a hard, it's thick enough you might have a hard time breathing if you step inside. But she stays not solid because she still seems to be made of smoke, but she's pretty good at maintaining, that outline and that definition even as the smoke billows around. She still seems to be very, very there, just not like you could reach out and touch her. You feel like you'd probably just end up swirling smoke around. That's the impression she gives anyways.
All right, so yeah.
So she's very defined, but doesn't seem very physically solid.
All right. And she's still just glaring at Anton as the two exchange stares.
For the most part. That seems to be where the most of her interest is. She's poised in that kind of stiff way where you get the impression she's probably listening to you as well. It's one of those things where she's waiting to see what happens, though she's obviously more fixated and annoyed with Anton. Like, you can see it. She's got pretty normal features.
Anton?
Yo.
Try backing up a few steps.
There's an eye twitch. Okay. He takes like 2 steps back. Still like fist clenched like he's ready to fucking burst into crying. Turn the fucking building down! But he takes 2 steps back.
And it's not when you start speaking, but when he finally complies and steps back the couple steps, the expression shifts a little bit in surprise. She finally turns and looks at Jane. That kind of malicious glow subsides a bit.
And how exactly does she look like she's looking at Jane?
Well, let's see. You're still outside the actual doorway, so
yeah.
She maybe looks a bit guarded. I mean, you can still see that edge of irritation because she recognizes Anton, clearly. And is not happy that she recognizes Anton. So there's a bit of guardedness, but she's also, you're not catching, like, necessarily outright hostility. If anything, the way you look means that you are kind of a point of interest and probably something. I mean, if her expression's anything to go by, you might think you're something she hasn't seen before.
And Jane will look up after scanning the room, scanning what's going on, reading that, and she'll just quite plainly say, "What are you known as?"
And she takes a moment to consider that and finally kind of gestures off towards the biggest patch of ashy flowers. Rose?
There's a hint of a smile that's like, heh. Rose. Nod.
What are you called?
Jane.
Nods. What are you, Jane?
What do you perceive me as?
Different. She's earnestly studying, and for the moment, like I said, just let me know if you, breach the doorway. But until
Oh.
then, she seems mostly inquisitive. She actually wanders closer, and the way the smoke billows, it's a lot like a skirt. There are points where once it gets a certain distance from her body, it thins out and just becomes kind of a more natural smoke. But as the skirts kind of roll out and lip over the ground, it kind of renews the glow in the flowers. They definitely seem to be a byproduct of her presence.
Different. Definitely different.
Very different. I haven't seen one of you before.
I could say the same to you.
I suppose there's a first time for all of us. She sweeps closer, nearer the doorway. Again, doesn't look overtly hostile, just getting closer, examining.
Oh no, Jane, for a matter of fact, is just stood there. She normally is very casual, just matter of fact. Just I'm stood here and talking to you. I'm not phased at all by this approach. Actually, there's that kind of look of inquisitive because she's dealt with spirit, and this is a very personified spirit, especially to her, anyway.
Oh yeah, and she of course sets her hand up on the wall as she's coming close, just touching it idly, and again more of the little flowers start to bloom up, small ones, just glowing, softly. Did he bring you to kill me?
No. Do you think I'd be stood here having such wonderful conversation if I was here to kill you?
That's a very good point. Kind of thoughtful glance off, well, yeah, solid. Essentially, that checks out.
Because I'm quite curious. We're both new in each other's eyes. But what exactly are you?
And it's funny watching the smoke make the expression, but it's very really there, and it's just this kind of widening smile. Dad?
Dead.
Dad?
What killed you?
It was kind of a pensive look. That up and off to the side, kind of, I must have.
What must have?
Oh, I must have.
How long have you been here?
And again, it's this weird smile as the logic takes a bit of a loop, and she says, "Forever." This place was born. It's mine.
What exactly is it that you do here?
Keep it. Because it's mine.
Well, that's fair enough, but is there nothing more than just... kind of just looks inside as, like, huh?
He just glances over. I didn't get what I wanted, but I got my answer. And so I stay here.
What did you want?
And this is where you get a bit of an interesting effect. A little bit more smoke kind of wafts out the windows, out the doorway. And there's been like little sparks dancing in her, the glow in the flowers. But several of them, the flowers, the glow heightens a bit. The intensity turns up. And the dancing sparks in the smoke become accompanied by flame. And again, it flares up in her eyes too as she just looks over, not necessarily pointed at you, but just, you know what? I'll give you a P&E on it to try to kind of pinpoint.
Take that. Yeah, because I'm good at P&E.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 3.
And it's just, it suddenly gets, the voice changes. She's been kind of passive, kind of dreamy. And it gets so sharp all of a sudden as she looks over. And you get the distinct impression with 3 successes, she's not angry at you. But you can almost feel, it's like feeling rage bubble up. It just flares dramatically as she says, I wanted him to choose me. Wanted him to look at me. Licks up through her hair. Little flamelets.
And he didn't?
No. No. So I took it. Now it's mine. And again, the smoke billowing across the floor becomes adjoined with very small flamelets, like, again, kind of what you'd expect of a guttering fire, and it doesn't suddenly, like, bust into fucking flame. But you definitely see little bits kind of catch and flicker for a bit before they, spread, gutter out. Now it's mine.
At what cost?
Doesn't matter. He wanted it more. So I took it. You know what? Give me an alertness check. It'll be reasonably high def. But as she's gesturing, as she's turning, as she's indicating, and again, like Anton pointed out, when she gestures to a place, the flames either flick up or flowers bloom in a giant cluster. The more emphatic she gets, the more dramatic the effect seems to be.
That's 2 9s.
That is beautiful. She gestures, and you see, I mean, essentially, the way that the sparks keep whirling around one of her fingers, it's a wedding ring. It's on the right finger anyways. It's not like there's a solid physical ring there, but the impression is just reinforced by the constant swirl of sparks whenever they're traveling up that hand. They always ring there a couple times before they travel out. It's one of the only points on her body that does that, besides the sparks sometimes emphasizing her facial features or outlines of her body.
And she just nods. Is that all?
Isn't it all that matters? Chose. I took it.
And you took it from him.
Yeah, next time she just she just keeps saying it's mine, and when she does again, the chimneys, even the one that's not standing anymore, it does seem to be toppled on this side too, for what it's worth. The hearth kind of flares up and glows, in addition to the previous effects.
Oh, it's yours. It's all yours. You took it.
It seems to content her enough that she just kind of sets her hand on the wall and starts idly pacing, not far from you, not quickly, just as if she gets distracted by the affirmation that this is hers and no one's trying to take it from her. And again, as the hand kind of trails as she walks, and even peripherally, even from an angle, you can kind of see them blooming out as she goes.
What are those?
She kind of glances back, looking half distracted. What is what?
Flowers.
A faint smile. She looks at them. Again, reaches out and touches them, and they don't act like ash in her smoky fingers. They respond to her touch like you'd imagine a flower would. She can kind of cup one of the blooms and turn it towards her. You're my new garden. You're me.
They're all a part of you.
Yes. Again, she's looking into the flower, seems very passive, very distracted as she looks into it. And for what it's worth, give me I'm gonna go with alertness. Again. Recognize a pattern.
She waits.
Beautiful. A lot of the flowers have come and gone, have grown and faded and blown away, have taken up new patterns. There's a particular patch that persists. Like, as parts of it fade away, other parts grow up in their place. They create a kind of a blanket there.
I think they're quite beautiful. Different.
And what I remember.
They're the only thing you remember.
Made me happy.
And she'll just smile. With her arms crossed in front of her, she'll just turn on a heel and stop walking down the stairs.
You can do so. She stays
Yeah,
passive.
Yeah, it was just probably sitting down. You know what I mean? Gazing out. You go back towards her.
She goes back and stands next to Anton. It's an interesting one.
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing yet, but what we have is something that, for a spirit, even one that might be tainted, it's definitely personified in some kind of way. Seems to be bound on some kind of vengeance for something in a past life. Wedding ring. Husband,
Wedding ring.
maybe.
Oh,
Son
geez. Right. Do you think maybe she started the fire?
But the way, I don't want to seem like I'm jumping the gun, but spirit latches on to somebody's burning need for vengeance, and they burn it down, take everything out with them. What's left is the remnants of the spirit to finally claim what it wanted. That house. Now that's assuming a lot of things. Either way, what I know is that the ring is definitely there. And the roses.
You're saying the ring is on the Tellurian side?
I'm saying it could be. Depending on what kind of metal it is, I guess it could have survived the heat.
Alright. Well, what we could do, switch over to Tellurian, you go in there, take a look around, see if you can find it. Then, I think I might have an idea about who to talk to about it. At least get an idea of local history. I might even give them a call while you're checking.
Sounds good. But seems to think her name's Rose. The roses keep appearing. They're a part of her, and whatever it seems as the outer ones seem to disappear, the ones in the middle, they're definitely linked.
Did you get a name of the person who she wanted to take it off?
No.
Snods. I think she'd give you one.
I think for avoiding conflict at the minute. Asking might stir something.
Just gives a shrug.
She's passive at the minute.
Yeah.
May as well keep it that way till we figure out what we're actually doing.
Just gives a nod. Then, yeah, stand up, head to shift into the DeLorean.
And she'll jump over as well.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And all of the smoke is gone. The sooty smell that, honestly, at standing there that long, you kind of acclimated to. It's one of those things where you step across, and especially for Jane, it's just like, because Jesus.
Yeah, Jane just, without even a second thought, she just almost like appears on the other side as materializes walking, and she just, as soon as she's there, it's footsteps on the ground. She starts marching her way up towards the building again.
What you gonna do?
Anton will flick out the phone and call, because he has the number, Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, he's a guy on history.
He is. Let me fiddle through pictures. I'll do that real quick. And then let Jane do her bit. Mr. Thompson. As soon as Minicam catches up with me. There you go. Mr. Thompson is reachable by phone. And yeah, it rings maybe 2-3 times for Yellow.
Hi.
Anton.
Hi, how are you doing? I just wanted to ask maybe a question. I have some queries, and I thought you would be the man to talk to.
I may be. That's
myself and Suzanne are doing some part of project work for her next big portfolio that she's going to put on her website, and we came across one of the areas of I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It used to be called Dinosaur Kingdom. It was one of these old abandoned parks or something like that a couple of years back.
He starts kind of chuckling over the phone. Oh no,
But
no, I remember.
there was some, I believe, a fire.
Oh, the fire. Burned down the museum. I mean, it
gives a
wasn't
nod.
so much a traditional museum, but the kids seemed to like it.
I'm just wondering if there was any, story behind that. There seems to be. We found a few things, and I just want to make sure that we're not stepping on anybody's toes. You know how it is.
Well, I believe the artist has moved on from the property, so I doubt he will care, though the local authorities might. It's that kind of hint, like, please don't get caught. I don't know about stepping on toes, but you might be stepping on a grave.
Why would the local authorities be concerned, if you don't mind me asking?
Trespassing.
Oh, well, of course. That's what the, Oh,
Oh, the obvious, you say.
But what do you mean a grave?
I believe when they investigated in the wake of the fire, they found that the artist's wife had been trapped inside. There was no real telling a cause of death, not after it was put out.
Do you know what the artist's name was?
And, I mean, he'll rattle off a name.
Do you know where he's living now? Or was there any, did he just vanish or something?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't really follow his work after that. The park was cute and all, but I was not that much a fan of his work.
Oh, of course. Would you have any idea who might have been?
I am sure there's some sort of fandom. He says it like in the most dismissive way. Fandom or followers of his work. There are those who very much liked his. You can practically hear the air quotes aesthetic.
Anyone locally? Just so I have a search range. You know how Suzanne is. She's very eager to cooperate and collaborate, or even get a general idea.
Get the impression he's got like rubbing his temple, thinking. I don't know that I could say offhand.
Just gives a nod. Because he knows who to turn to next. Because the person is a writer is probably going to talk to Carla, because she probably would have a fucking idea.
But yeah, he just kind of goes that as much as I know, I don't think they ever determined rightfully the cause of the fire, or not for certain, anyways. So
Just gives a nod. No, I was double checking. If you can't find anything, it's fine. So, but thanks very much.
Enjoy yourself. Look forward to seeing the pictures.
Just gives a nod, and thank you, and thanks very much, and hangs up the phone.
Click.
And he will quickly redial fucking Carla.
Sure, why the fuck not?
He figures she would have a better idea. If not, then we go to the fabled land of the internet.
Are you texting or calling?
I'll call, it's easier.
It takes almost no time. She is not an adult, so she is attached to her phone. So yeah, you get about one ring off before she picks it up. Hey Anton, what's up?
Hey, I wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
You know the old abandoned dinosaur place?
What, you mean like Dinosaur Kingdom?
Yeah,
or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you hear the story
I remember.
that? You hear the story behind that?
Which story?
The one about the museum burning down?
Oh yeah. Everyone's heard that. There's like a whole bunch of theories. Like there's a whole forum where I've perused. But yeah, a lot of theories.
Can you tell me who the artist might be? The original guy, like the husband.
Oh yeah, and she again rattles off the same name.
Do they know where he is? Like, any indication?
I mean, he moved. I think he's still doing works for other big projects, but I mean, I don't think he's even in state anymore.
Just give us a nod. What was the wife's name?
Oh, it was Rose. It was Rose because she they thought it was all ironic that she tended the gardens. It was like you couldn't even write stuff like this.
Just give us a nod. Okay. What are these pages like?
What you mean, well, I mean, it's somewhere between fan theory and conspiracy theory and actual cited fact.
Which was the actual one?
I mean, actual cited fact is that one day the museum burned down. His wife died in the fire. I think they assumed that it was smoke inhalation just because that usually will get you before a fire does, but there's no real telling, I guess. And I mean, after losing, he had a lot of his newest works in the museum, and so he lost all those and lost his wife at the same time, and he just dumped the place and moved.
And you're sure he's out of state?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't a huge fan, so I haven't really been following. I'm sure there's people who've been creeping on him the whole time, but...
Do you know anybody who would?
I mean, I could check the site.
Anyone that might be around locally?
I mean, locally? Maybe. But, I mean, most of the kids at school are young enough that we barely remember it, and... I mean, small town. Not that many people here.
Yeah, small town and a big fire. Come on. Somebody was surely known in this place.
I mean, I'm sure someone's followed him. He was kind of a local artist. It was silly stuff, but it got a lot of attention. I'm sure someone does, but...
He rubs his face.
Why are you trying to find him?
It's complicated.
Complicated.
Yeah. Let's just say found some things.
What'd you find?
Just just old shit, in the rubble.
The rubble? Did you
Yeah,
go to the fucking museum?
yeah.
Oh my god, did you find a body?
No,
Damn it. You're like slumped
Car-
back against the couch.
Carla.
What?
Even if I did, it wouldn't sound like I've just jumped for joy.
Okay, I mean, it's sad, but it's a really good story.
Well, maybe I'm trying to figure out the pieces of the puzzle because we found things that contradict a few things. Like I said,
mean,
it's a really good story. Now, if you help me, I could get you to write about it.
well, you let me know what to go fish out of the internet, and I'll try to find you something that isn't someone's fucking pet theory.
I need to find connections that the husband had in the town. I need a connection at all.
I mean,
Because
that much I can tell you. Like, he didn't really, he usually sent someone into town to get his stuff. He was always out there working. Like, there's a big warehouse out there where he made all the dinosaurs, like, molded and cast them.
Where is that?
Hold on. Let me pull up Google.
All right.
Straight, like, Google Maps satellites it. Looks like kind of maybe northwestern side of the park. It's back from the park. He didn't want people to see it while they were walking through, but it's not that far back. It's just got a good line of trees in front of it. But yeah, there's like a big warehouse there where he did all his art.
He'll nod. Yeah. All right, send me that right back in the park. Okay, cool.
Like, I could get you a GPS coordinates, but that seems kind of silly. But your phone would be able to use it, so
Nah, I'll find it. I'm here anyway. I'll find it.
okay. Tell
Another
me
thing
what you find.
Another thing I need to know is I might have found something which hinted that this fire was done deliberately
I mean,
by
that's
the
what.
wife.
Oh, what did you find that means it was her?
Just hints, I know what a crime scene looks like.
Not like a letter or something?
Kind of.
Kind of.
It's pretty badly burned, we'll say.
I mean,
let's just say this was a crime of passion. I'm gonna put it like that.
ooh, you better tell me what you find after this.
I will, but I want you to help me find any connections that the husband might have done. We're talking. I wouldn't say it's going to be hard to find out about maybe affairs, but I'm talking about what was he known for? I'm thinking maybe even stolen work, plagiarizing, anything. Any connection negatively towards that husband, I need you to find.
I mean, some of us thought the statues were pretty crap, but some people just really digged it. He did it like, I told you, he didn't even take time to come into town. He just was always out in his workshop.
Right. Well, then ask about her, the wife. Anything at all you can get me. Anything you can find out from these websites. Anything.
Okay.
I'll send all the stuff that I find over to you. You do what you need to do about it.
Yeah, I'll paste you what I find.
All right, cool. Thanks. Hang up and look. Shout out to Jen. I'm gonna check out warehouse and back, further back. That's where he made the things.
All right, and in the meantime, because while this has been going on, Jane has gone a marching.
A marching she will do.
And Jane, what are you doing? I assume you're heading straight into that bitch.
Damn right.
All right, what you going for?
Oh, first of all, where the roses were, because there's that big kind of bush of them, right?
Yeah, there was a patch that stayed pretty persistently.
Well, let's go to that patch. Generally, where it was in the room. Let's go over there first. Let's see what's hiding under door number 1.
All right. I mean, you can get roughly what you're pretty sure is the right area. What are you going to do? Dig around?
Yeah, she's gonna just have a look through the rubble, see what kind of rubble's here first, and then to start moving it around, see if there's anything kind of buried under here or anything like that.
Yep, I mean, it's a lot of ash, it's a lot of broken crap. Again, a ceiling caved in. There was a whole second story, and all that survived was the kind of like sticky stone front area and the chimneys. So everything else is, well, you're walking in it. So give me an investigation. You may spend a willpower if you like.
Yeah, right up. And no willpower. Oh.
All right. Well, that makes 3, which is enough to get the good bits. So you start combing around, looking, hunting, poking through. And while you wonder if some of the things that you root up, it's like, I mean, this could be bone or this could be, I don't know, part of the architect. It's all scorched crap. God damn it. So you're rooting and kind of carefully combing through, sifting, and with 3, fuck it, yeah, you'll come up with eventually it's hard to spot because it's all smeared and soot covered, but you'll eventually come up with a ring.
And she'll just scraping through throwing a few what's left of these cinder blocks here and there, just huffing around. Finally, just
Do you have a medicine score?
nope.
Okay, then yeah. The big thing will be the ring. There's other stuff that, I mean, it could be bone, it could be like pieces of tile or really gnarled wood. It's hard to tell when the stuff is cooked, but
Yeah. So she pulls up the skeletal hand, takes the ring off, and says, "Oh, that could be a bone or something. I don't know." Throws it behind her.
it's not quite that bad. I mean, it's all like, I mean, it's heat splintered and everything, so
Yeah,
no,
no,
you can't necessarily identify it,
it's
but you can
crap.
definitely spot the ring.
Now, out of curiosity, what does it look like?
I mean, it looks like your pretty classic wedding ring. I mean, it's not gold. It's more and more recently. People, in recent years have been doing like titanium rings and shit, which probably explains why it's not a piece of slag with a stone kind of blobbed in it.
She pulls it out, kind of gives it a wipe, trying to wipe some of the grime off it, and does it come off, or is it?
Yeah,
marked?
the grime will start kind of coming off. There are bits that are, there's ash and soot shoved into it. You'd have to like go at it with a toothbrush to get it all off. But I mean, you can kind of start getting the worst of it wiped off.
Yeah, no, she'll stand up, and hopefully by this time Anton's done with his conversation, poke her head out.
Yeah, for what it's worth, the longer you're in there, the more you'll begin to smell the smoke, especially as you're sifting through the ash. But it's not dangerous yet.
There's turn as he hangs up the phone.
Got it.
Okay, what do you want to do with the wedding ring?
Well, it's either a case of actually check this. Check it.
Walk over.
Yeah, she'll hand it over.
He looks down at it. And rolls the sense word. Reveal yourself one day. I know where they are.
Reveal your secrets.
I have 2 successes at least.
Reveal your secrets. Well, at the very least, there's a lot clinging to it.
Hands it back almost immediately. That's tainted. The dust off is like, ooh.
Yeah, but is it the ring itself that's tainted, or is it like the shit on it?
No, it's clinging to it. When it's tainted, it resides in it. This is clinging effect.
All right, so hear me out. It's not the ring.
No.
So the ring is clean.
Well, where did you find the ring exactly?
Well, I had to go off something. So where the constant patch of roses on the other side is, I looked there first, and that's where it was.
Did you find, like I said, did you find the ring attached to anything?
Was it attached to anything, or was it just there?
There let's face it, I figure finger bones are pretty small and probably would have been some of the first stuff to crack and whatnot. So, I mean, not like there wasn't a finger bone perfectly in the ring or anything. I mean, there was some jank in the ash, but there's a lot of jank in the ash, so you'd have to kind of shrug.
It was buried, so not especially attached to something.
Okay. Did you look around? Did you find anything else around the area of the ring?
Generally just rubble. I
Let
mean,
me
you can
take a
take
look. He just
that.
walks in.
It's got like steps outside. It's like, looks up at the chimneys. Like,
Anton does not need an alertness check to feel the almost immediate kind of choking sensation. Not like you're not going to die right here, right now, but yeah, it suddenly got a lot harder to breathe as soon as you stepped inside.
Takes a step back. Oh, I see how it is. No, you fucking worm-tailed piece of fucking...
In all fairness, you threatened her.
In all fairness, worlds, she nearly killed my fucking girlfriend.
Which was entirely reasonable.
And she's worm-tailed out the fucking backside, so...
Maybe we can clean that.
Just rubs his face. If you're looking for any remnants of a body, now it's going to be very limited considering what the fire will burn away in time.
Naturally.
But that'll be my best bet on what's tainted.
Naturally. But the ring not being a sign means you can help.
Yes and no. We still don't know why this happened.
No.
Which I've been looking into, and from what I gather about this husband, he mainly stayed away, ordered the parts in for the town, and stayed in his workshop. Now, I know I've just gotten confirmation the workshop is somewhere down, points back through the park that way. So, confirmation that her name is Rose. And what was this guy's name exactly? Because I feel like this is going to be important, so I have a name.
You have a name. I don't. You have a name. Dude Face McGee.
Okay.
Call him Thomas Matthews. Why not?
Thomas
really generic.
Thomas Matthews.
All right. Wait. Stayed in his workshop all the time.
Yeah. That's what, according to some of the facts that I've been getting. Yeah.
She mentioned a lot that she gave him a choice.
Okay.
It was her or something else. Now, she didn't say what the something else was. See what I'm getting at?
He gives a nod. That's what I was thinking.
Workshop. Let's find it.
Yeah, no, he just start walking. From what I can gather, it's back. She said it was the western side, so he starts just walking through.
Yeah, Jane's going to follow, and as she is following Katie, she's going to try and clean as much of the shit off as she can of this ring.
Oh yeah, you can get it. You can get it pretty good.
Like, she's going to fuck the t-shirt, just going to scrub the shit out of it with the bottom of it.
Oh yeah, there's probably like little bits of stuff like jammed in under like the prongs holding the stone in, but like for the most part, you can get it pretty clean.
Yes, now go looking for this workshop.
Yeah, can do. You've been given a decent hit, and Carla will be a bro and essentially shoot you like a quick clip of the Google Maps, with a circle kind of drawn around the warehouse, so you can see like, oh hey, that's part of the park, and then there's a line of trees, and then oh yeah, it's a pretty big workshop.
Me opens it. I mean, what do I find?
But basically, you do some rooting around. Have to head all through the park. I'm just going to use this as my picture for now. But you root all around the other end of the park, kind of triangulate it, and it takes some tromping around. You're probably getting later in the afternoon. It's not getting dark yet, but yeah, you can eventually find the workshop where there's don't think I saved any pictures of the workshop. Let's look and see. It doesn't look like I did. So basically, you've got a big kind of. It's kind of what you'd see like on a cheap warehouse type building. Like, steel buildings are reasonably cheap compared to a proper building. So it's your classic kind of warehouse build. It's got a big garage door, and even out in the grounds around it, you see parts and pieces of some of the dinosaur models. Like, that is definitely part of one of the Triceratops over there. That is the upper half of a Velociraptor. Like, they've been left out and half grown over. But there's like a big garage style door. It's probably cracked a foot off the ground.
Yeah, he just kind of opens the door gently.
Yeah, you coax it open. Gentle or no, it squeals like in the most amazing, grind your teeth, ear splitting kind of way as you coax it up enough for you guys to duck under comfortably. You'll probably have to open it pretty far to get any decent light.
Yeah, he does. He'll take the time. They've got time.
So yeah, you pop it open, and the place is awash with, molds just kind of look like big fuck off blobs, but it is a big fucking workhouse. There are parts of dinosaurs everywhere. There's probably, you know what? I don't think I mentioned it anywhere else. So no, there's not any real spray paint tagging really per se. But there's places where you can tell that things have been pulled off the shelves and like tossed around. There might be a beer can or two. Or people have come like rooting around, which probably explains why it was a foot open in the first place. But yeah, it's a big fucking workshop, and it is not necessarily full of large machinery. You're not seeing like the big expensive machinery everywhere, but there's shelves and shelves and shelves of parts and pieces and molds, and they are everywhere. The place is just full to the brim. There's a whole like series of racks of supplies for like mixing cement, mixing resin, like just all sorts of crap everywhere. And this is an artist, so in his head there was some kind of order and sense to this, but to a new pair of eyes, holy shit, this is chaos.
Alright, so what are we looking for?
Anything, notes, letters. He could have gone. He spent most of his time here, so I imagine if he did get anything off her, it would be in here. So let's check it out. Be careful though. Just if you can avoid touching anything, don't jank it around too much. As he's walking along, yeah, now go looking around and skiving around in this place.
Yeah, and Jane will kind of just try and go the opposite way.
Do a strike off in opposite directions.
Yes.
Well, lucky you. There's a lot of paper in here. Unfortunately, a lot of it is not the note you're looking for. There is, Anton ends up over in the drafting area. You've never seen so many shitty sketches of dinosaurs in your fucking life, or notes about dinosaurs and statues of them in your life. Never mind sketches of more potential scenarios he could set up with soldiers and whatnot. there was at least one point where he was going to do like, haha, it's like a buffalo herd stampeding, but instead it is fucking parasaurs. And the men will be running alongside on their horses and shooting and blah, it'll be very dramatic. Like, there's a whole sketch set up for that. Like, there's a lot of shit going on in this drafting area. I will let you roll an investigation to see if you can find something fabulous. For Jane's sake, you pitch in the other direction, and you similarly, you find an area where like, oh, paper, yes. And you kind of head over, and there's like a note board and all this other stuff, and a good like dinner table sized, probably actually a dinner table splayed over with things, and it's orders. It's orders for supplies. It's orders for materials. It's, oh, hey, orders for pizza. Like, it looks like this guy never threw shit away. Oh, no, he must have. That trash can's full. Really bad at throwing everything away in a timely fashion. You may likewise roll an investigation to try to find something that really stands out.
I'll certainly do that. A 10, 6, and a 6.
Oh, a 10 will do it. So yeah, you start, like, you're rooting and like, Jesus fucking Christ. And in your case, you manage to find it because it stands out a little bit. Because most of this is printed. And you find, ooh, handwriting. Ooh, handwriting! And you snag it up and, is a letter in, like, handwritten in cursive. So fancy. Half legible because cursive, but so fancy.
Yeah, that should snatch that one pretty quick. It's kind of just as she does shout back to Anton. Found anything?
No, just more drawings of how dinosaurs are killing Civil War soldiers. Yippee.
I got a whole bunch of Domino's receipts, but I think I've got a note. I can't read this for shit.
Just poof, there he is.
It's like, oh.
Stop doing that. Hey, what's up?
No.
Yeah, let me read it.
Oh, I mean, I can't see this shit. If you want to do the honors.
I'm not too bad. Look through it.
No, I'm not too bad.
And yeah, it is the fanciest fucking cursive of all time. On the bright side, you have you've found old things your mom writes in cursive.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to do, Katie,
what?
I have something else. I have ancestors.
Oh my god.
I will channel my ancestor ally
to read cursive?
Fancy writing.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I gave you an allied ancestor. That's the point.
Success.
Oh my fucking god. You fucking chode. Literally like, I must read fancy handwriting.
Grandfather!
Basically what he does.
I'm not even mad right now. I'm just fucking dying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he'll be able to read.
What does this say about the modern world? Where you need to call upon an ancestor to read really fancy cursive?
Tell me your fancy handwriting. Do it now.
Oh my god. Oh. And it is oh my god. You get the impression that this is the kind of thing that got brought in one day with maybe like folded and brought in with, it's even got the little name all fancy on half of it on the back. It probably got folded and brought into him with maybe like one of his food orders or who knows what. But whatever the case, it's just one of those things where it's not like, oh, this is set in a formal envelope because, I mean, this is a husband and a wife. That seems a little excessive.
Yeah, goddamn right it is.
But, yeah, it's just, essentially a note that's like, I know you're very busy, but please, don't forget to come out. We do have lunch with your family tomorrow, and we have this and we have that. And it's basically like it's pretty clearly, regardless of the exact wording, it's very clearly like the plea of please leave your workshop. By the way, I'm still here. Remember walking in the garden? We used to like walking in the garden.
He keeps reading, like scrolling down to it.
And yeah, it's not especially long. It's just very kind of poignant. Like, you get the impression this isn't the first letter or mention. There's a note of desperation there.
All right, he'll hold up his hands, like hold up the note. Look for more of these. There's more than one. Look for one. Like we're gonna have to read through them step by step.
Right. Oh, that's one down. Only however many more it takes to make the wife want to murder him to go. I'll go insane. Judging by how many Civil War people are around here in dinosaurs.
Judging by it, we're about halfway. We're at the starting really bad point. Now roll another investigation again, and there's a 10.
Aha! A 10. Just what you always wanted. Yeah, you now have an idea. Look at this handwriting. It's so fancy. That woman was brought up properly. Look at that handwriting. You just know it in your heart to be true. Because some ancestor is leaning over your shoulder and nodding like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Ha! It is pathetic by my standards.
Look, this is a light in an otherwise dim existence of hanging out with a bunch of dead people. Look at that fancy handwriting. It's not quite up to snuff, but look, bless her heart, she tried.
Please, Kate, these are Shadow Lord ancestors.
Look, Silva, this is acceptable.
That's the bless her little heart moment.
This will suffice.
That's why it's bless your little heart. It's a very roundabout and
This will suffice.
Look here, you. We're in the South right now.
This will suffice.
Lots it is bless.
This will suffice.
Bless her little heart.
Bless your heart.
God, this will suffice.
Look at this, Anton. Look at that.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have to got a plan.
Oh
my but yeah, what does it say?
Yeah, you'll find another one. Like, again, like, at least you know now what to look for, and you realize that maybe looking in an orderly fashion where there's other papers, it will not behoove you in any way. So you find, like, you catch a glance of some handwriting on a piece of paper that's poking out from under, like, a slab that is just stained over and over from clay. In fact, there are blocks of very, very dried out clay all over and under that table, and on top of the slab. Yay, it's... Oh God, why is it so heavy? So after some... fuck! Because, yeah, it's heavy. God damn it, side chat. Yeah, you'll manage to extricate another, somewhat clay-stained note. That is, again, it's along the same lines of, your parents visited a week ago and you barely came out to say hello. I feel like I never see you anymore. It's growing desperation. Is your art really so important that you can't come out, just for an hour or two a day? No! Ah! Oh God, he died. It was so tragic. He
read the cursive and killed himself.
Oh God. It was too cursive.
No.
Oh, I've got a message.
Like fuck Chrome, I imagine.
Probably. We'll find out momentarily.
Beep, 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 beep. It seems like a fuck Chrome message. I bet if it's a fuck the computer, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna strangle him. if he's broke that shit already.
No. At worst, it's probably, isn't it? Out in the middle of the boonies.
Swear down, Kate. If he's broke that shit already, would have beaten to death with it.
I believe in a thing called love.
Bam, 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 Copyright strikes. Wanna kiss you every minute, every hour, every day. Everything's been, everything is a-okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, touching you. Wow. Leave anything called love.
Oh, oh, oh no! I can feel the rage growing from here.
So close, and yet so far. Swear to Christ, he best treat that laptop. He best be stroking it with rage rather than beating it. Swear to Christ, I come flying through that wall with a mighty fucking kick. Like, hey, we either don't appreciate your shit.
I believe. There we go. We got a picture.
Now we need sound. Speak or forever hold your peace.
Oh, damn it.
There's something. There's a sigh. There's a sigh. He's angry, but there's a sigh.
Damn it.
Damn it. During this time, I can check my Facebook messages.
And I will take this as an opportunity for a bio break.
Do it.
There we go. Uh, can
Ugh.
you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
we can
me?
hear you.
Alright, because I'm not getting any green. Oh, there we go. That's green lines. Sorry, fucking Wi-Fi had a fucking complete heart attack. I missed all of that. Oh,
You're all good. Just give me 1 second. All right, sorry. Ugh. All right, so you find a second note. It is kind of muddy because it's under a clay thingy thing. You imagine it was there while he was still actively working with the stuff. But yeah, it's another note that is a raising amount of desperation. Like, whereas the one was like, oh, your parents are visiting soon. It's, your parents visited a week ago and you barely came out. You had one dinner with us. It's a peaking point of like, your family needs to hear from you. I need to hear from you. I barely see you anymore.
look over. Alright, we're getting closer.
Well, it's a solid 2 out of 3.
Alright, keep looking.
Yeah, carry on looking around.
Oh, another investigation.
Do it.
One for me as
That's
well.
a 9
Go
out of
ahead and
10.
roll as well.
Some good help.
You do it. Help real good. You're helping.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Look,
You're helping him find all the places that a note isn't. It's fine.
Exactly.
Anton. I lifted some paperwork for you.
Look, Anton. Well, this doofy ass fucking Civil War shit. Oh, right, the note. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I
Is
got
that
a
what we were
9.
looking for?
I got a 9 out of 10.
I mean, this one's a T-Rex. Points. Yep. Got another 10. And this one is the hardest find because it is wadded up and tossed under one of the tables. And this is not a threat. At least not to burn everything down. But it's definitely that pretty clear look. I don't see you anymore. I thought these vows meant something to you. If you can't come out, if you can't be bothered to put your work on pause even for a day at a time, what am I here for? What am I to you? Which is more, and here's the thing is, you said you'd give up anything for me. Which is more important? The keynotes being, yeah, definitely, you said you loved me and you'd give up anything. And, on and on and on. And then which is more important? And these stand out. If nothing else, the ancestor helps point out that this is where the nib of the pen digs deeper into the paper. These are said with the most emphasis, as it were, whether it's conscious or not.
Well, what have we got?
This is, I think, the final note. See here, points. See the dip there, where she presses the ink in. You can tell this is it. Asking her to make,
The
sacrifices
choice.
are meant to be important. Yeah, looking over.
That's the choice she was on about.
This place for her. Vows of marriage.
And he made the choice.
Well, it burnt down. Everything burnt down. He upped and left, apparently. Moved out of state and everything. At least that's what they think it is.
But she made it clear that she. So the big thing, what definitely got her more agitated, is that she wanted something and she took it.
Wanted him to be a husband, clearly.
She did, but the thing she took was a house or the awards or whatever it was in that building. She took it from him. It was his, and she took it from him. That's what she kept saying.
Yeah. Let's keep looking around. There's something missing.
Or what?
This might have been the final note, or might not have been. Now look around. But he kept drawing here. Why didn't she burn the workshop down then? Now look over. This museum was meant to be like a grand opening, right?
Was it?
Apparently, that's what they said. So when you think about it, taking it from it is taking the hours of time, taking the... Look at this. He gestures around. Wasted a whole however long in here.
Well, to try and get that building up and running out there, and she took it from him.
In her mind, it's taking back all the time that he took from her by being in here.
Makes sense. It's definitely plausible. That's what happened. Then what do we do about it?
I don't know. We can't find the husband, obviously, by the looks of things.
So let's look at what we know. So we know there's tension between the two of them. He's lost in his work, and she wants a husband.
Yeah.
It's clear. She just wants to see him more, be around him, and he's shunning himself away. So she gets mad, leaves him notes, he ignores them, carries on. She burns down the house, the museum. All the, I'd guess, well, what's in there? Probably priceless to him.
Yeah.
Out of spite, burn it down, but she died in the fire.
Yeah. One more thing she took from him.
Yeah.
Herself. Because after all, in her mind, why would he deserve to have her if he never wanted her in the first place?
Yeah. She's just another part of his display.
Exactly. He lights a cigarette, because she's grim. It's just to take that sweet scent of nicotine.
But that's what happened. What we have now is a resembling spirit of what that was.
Yep. That's a long drag. The plume of smoke goes out. The question is, putting it right. Now we can't exactly drag the husband up here, right?
It's not about putting it right.
What do you mean?
It's about giving the spirit that died its final piece. Imagine it like limbo. like you said, warmth brings back things that are meant to be dead, corrupts them, changes them. But in that last moment as she was up in flames, it latched on, it just fed off of all that rage, all that vengeance that she was on. And it kept a hold of that, and they put it inside that building, and it's kept it there ever since.
Okay. So how do we put it at peace? We're not going in there and decimating it. You know what I'm saying?
Look, as much as I want to destroy the woman as much as the next guy, but think about it. This is something different. This might be worm tainted. It's not exactly servant of. If it's servant of, this whole place would be crawling by now. See what I'm saying? This is something we can use.
So you're saying it's some sort of form of an advanced level of like not tainted, but not actually overwarm.
I don't know what it is, but I guess it's you know what? For all intents and purposes, let's make this simple. Ancestor spirit that's got a worm taint in it.
So what are we using it for?
It's about what we use it for. It's about getting rid of the worm taint and then seeing what we can use it, then seeing what we can do with it.
It's a lot of worm taint.
Sometimes it's just so simple. She just holds out the ring.
What do you mean? Saying if we make the ring all shiny and bury it back in there, it's going to fix everything.
No. What I'm saying is, whatever she is right now, everything just kind of blends in, but the ring on her finger stands out. Now that's big, because that means something. Now what would happen if we filled that void in?
Okay.
Give her the ring, see what she does.
Could work. It's a risk, but could work.
What's her other option?
Well, there's the standard option.
That's what I mean. Standard option, or try something a little creative.
We'll try something creative. If she goes all buck wild, I'll fucking decimate her into the next Earth.
Well, I'm sure you'll have your chance.
Just give it a nod. Like, you know, it's just kind of the shrug of like, fuck it, you know. I'll lead on then.
All right. Let's see how this goes. And yeah, she'll
Walks out after her.
make her way back there. Take the time to actually dedicate the ring so it comes across.
Yeah, he'll finish doing his cigarette and bleh, cross over.
And bleh. Good plan. Assume you're taking backup position.
Yeah. Just ready to fucking come in like a hurricane if it goes wrong. But he'll resume his spot where he is, really, you know, where he was before. Except he won't have his back towards now. He'll be standing there watching Jane.
Yeah, she'll make her way up there, actually. On her side, so let's get the freaky.
No.
Freaky tiki.
Assume you're heading up to the entrance again.
Yup.
She's there. She looks perplexed because, go figure, you come back and there's... I mean, that blanket of flowers is still kind of there, but it's significantly diminished. There's almost like a patch, like a hole in it. She seems very fixated on that. Even as you walk up, she gives a glance back, sees that it's you as opposed to Anton, and doesn't overly concern herself when you don't bypass the door, but is trying to. I mean, you can tell she's kind of trying to spur and encourage the flowers to grow again.
She'll stand in the archway again, but she won't cross it. Rose?
And she, picks herself up, and she like does that smoothing her skirt gesture, which is, I mean, on the one side, it's really just kind of cool looking because the smoke billows out with the gesture of the hands. She turns to look. The flowers are dying.
How come?
I don't know. It's hard. She, gets distracted again and starts to crouch back down, kind of running her fingers through the ash in so much as it's there. And yeah, even near, like, the flowers kind of crumble down, and she has to put some effort into calling them back up this time. It's missing.
The ring?
Looks kind of unfocused. But not. It's not real anymore. But it was here. It was right here. There's a little splay of sparks. Nothing to the level of when she got agitated earlier.
Well, I listened to what you said. I took it on board. Thought you might like it.
She glances back, looking perplexed.
Maybe to hold it again. She, and yeah, she'll pull it out, reveal it in her hand.
You know that stuttery kind of horror movie effect where someone kind of fizzles out in one place and fizzles in another?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not over by the rose bed anymore. She right there, just on the inside of the door. So fucking close, like right on the inside of the door. Not hostile, just boom, there. Staring at the ring. And she actually kind of cups out her hands. Doesn't. You kind of have to wonder if she can bypass the doorway. Because she stays so carefully just on this side. But cups the hands. And while her expression is pleading, I mean, the effect is still there. So that instead of saying something maybe more heartfelt, she just goes, "It's fine."
It's yours. Do you want it back?
And the Bane thing 404s almost immediately. She literally like kind of freezes. Like the smoke keeps wafting, but the outline and the features don't shift at all for a hot minute. If she's faced with a question she has not had to consider. Yes.
Why?
There's one of those, again, those kind of stutter stop moments where you can see her kind of twisting her head aside for a second as if it's kind of making her, it's putting her in a point of peak. It's not like grossly distorted yet, but it's one of those things where you can see her kind of struggling. And when she finally flashes back to normal, just, I always wanted it.
Well, it's what he gave you.
Then there's another kind of flare of sparks around the skirt. He didn't want it anymore, but I did. More than anything.
Why do you want it so much?
And again, you get a series of kind of flickering images as she struggles. The head gets a little more twisted off to the side. At one point, there's even the hands up alongside her head, kind of tugging at her hair like she's wrestling. Before it flicks back to normal again. I always wanted it. Then again, it's weird because it's plaintive, but at the same time, the voice gets kind of distorted. As the hand again comes to right at the edge of the door jamb, palm up. It's a weirdly kind of out of sync spine.
All right. Come and get it. You can have it if you just let go.
Her head snaps up when she says, "Come and get it." Staring, measuring. Definitely a lot more serious gauging than she gave prior. And here's where things get interesting. Because these little suckers start blooming up, starting at the base of the door jamb, rapidly growing up either side. And beginning finally much more slowly outwards than upwards, but kind of pulling themselves out of the cracks to the sound of like the concrete kind of singeing, scorching. The sparks at the base of her skirt flare up again and begin to dance up her body. The flamelets start to dance up. And the flames are essentially licking out the foot of the doorway, scorching the pavement. Scorching the, I mean, I guess it's technically concrete? But yeah, you're getting hit by, for Jane's sake, the smoke is suddenly very thick, very choking as she's trying to press out. And that is a wave of really intensive heat. Like painfully intensive heat.
Yeah, there's a flinch in there as well because like
I made decisions today.
Yep. She'll kind of try and coil herself back, not away, back to where she was. Just let it go.
How far are you standing outside of the door?
Literally like 2 or 3 steps.
Man, her progress is made with a lot of trial, a lot of heat. You see fires picking up in the base of the building, licking at the walls again, picking up a lot more intensity than they did prior. And I mean, for all the world, it looks like the place is going up in flames all over and trying to spread. Because it seems the more that they scorch out over the concrete, the more she can ease a little bit further.
Spenzinosis for Master Fire.
She's finally starting to get, like, inch her way through the door. You can tell she's struggling, though. She has a place that is her place. And yeah, I will have you do me a stam check to see how you're doing against that heat. Because it is, like, this is full fucking house fire, and the wafts of heat from that are not inconsiderable.
Oh, I said Jane's not a combat character. Well, there's my there's my soak.
Oh my god.
Jesus, Jane. Did you meet your roll, Katie?
You are not actually, like, you've said already that you're a pretty good bit back. So by the time the heat's getting to you, like, I mean, you can feel it. You can absolutely feel it, but it's not the same as standing right in the face of it.
Here's my question. I'm seeing Jane struggle, right?
With a stam check like that, yes, she's starting to get essentially singed. And Jane, it's not so much the smoke, it's the fucking heat right now because you're this close. It's like you can kind of feel the lungs scorching. Like, it's not crippling, but you're going to start coughing.
That roll is Dex Athletics to catch Jane. Like, I'm going to break into a run, catch her, so I hold her up as well. Keeping the ring hand outstretched, but turning her so it's hitting me more, essentially. And that with lightning reflexes is a lot of successes.
That is a lot of successes. Jane, do you want to do anything to resist that?
So what's happening?
I'm keeping your hand up, so you're trying to catch the ring, but essentially I am just catching you under the thing, pulling you back enough, but keeping you enough so the ring hand is still poised out. Even though you're about to collapse, I'm holding your hand up, so she has to come out further, but I am taking steps back with you in my arms, essentially, so you don't collapse and drop, essentially.
He's also providing a body wall, which, weirdly enough, is pretty effective against a very direct source of heat.
Yep.
So there's an almost immediate, like, some reprieve. It's still hot, but you don't feel like your lungs are about to fucking burst.
If Anton's trying to pull her away, like down the stairs kind of thing, she will resist. But if he's holding her up, it's just, if anything, force of will just to stay there.
It's half pulling you down, but it's half keeping you out of the fire. I have to pull you down to get out, essentially, of the fire, but it's keeping that ring inside of that thing as well. It's almost as if I'm like, You know what I mean?
So yeah, I'm with you now. So yeah, no, she, if anything, just sheer force of will, just like stands as much as her original position as she can. It's like, yeah, if you want to, just let go.
So, since you do have Master of Fire up, Torna, it takes her time to get close enough to reach this thing, but she is fucking, like, white metal hot by the time she reaches out to take the ring. So, I want you to soak me. We'll say over the amount of time it takes, 5. What for you will be bashing, and Jane, you are going to just narratively take 2 ag because you cannot soak it in Hamid as she reaches out, and because fire is ag for Guru. And especially, like, that point when she touches the ring, holy shit, you feel like your fingers are cooking almost.
Yep, I took 1 of it, so I took 4, so ow.
At least it's bashing.
Yeah, that's almost, it's almost like he learned his lesson from the last time.
It is.
in front of a raging inferno.
But
So
yeah,
no,
you
let's take it.
get your fingers burned, Jane. You get them burned real good.
Yep. Ow. 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 Don't scream. Don't scream. Don't scream.
If anything, Anton holding you up is probably more of the fact that you can kind of cling on to him, essentially.
Yep. With that. It's like one arm around Anton, the other one with the arm outstretched and just like burning.
Here's the great part. She gets the ring, finally. And there's some continued heat as she... I mean, Jane might be able to see over his shoulder. She slides it on her finger, and suddenly the heat just gone.
This is the smoke. What do I see? Since I'm like right there.
You can still see some smoke curling around you, but while there were flames dancing and sparks licking around you, you could feel them like hitting your clothes and singeing. Like, it's somehow with that gift active, it doesn't really hurt the way it should, but like you can feel the ash hitting your back. You can feel it blasting into you. And all of a sudden, that extra burning sensation stops. You can still see bits of tendrils of like misty smoke, but the heat suddenly cuts to the point where I imagine after that much exposure to that high intensity heat, it almost feels fucking cold by comparison.
Just lets out the breath, like.
Dana just kind of look up from burying her face in Anton's shoulder because, ow, that's hot.
Yeah, she seems gone.
Is she gone?
She is not gone.
Oh, Jesus.
Looks
over.
What
are we seeing?
What are we looking at now?
She's kind of solidifying. Like, there's still dancing smoke and mist that's working its way out of her, but she's taking on a more solid, albeit still somewhat ghostly, but more real appearance. And let's face it, in the Umbra Ghost look, real. So more and more as, she puts it on and spins it around to put it just so, she starts kind of manifesting. And eventually the last of the smoke flits out of her skirts, her hair. The smell dissipates. And she's just standing there. She looks, for all the world, like a person in some state of mild shock, just staring at the ring. Rolling it around her finger a couple times, just musing over it.
Rose?
He looks up.
Anton and Jane are just huddled together like Shaggy and Scooby.
Anton's gonna turn. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's just kind of look over. Just look over as Jane's clinging on to him. He'll just kind of crack his neck.
Both just looking like, what?
Yeah, Anton will just very calmly say, he drove himself away from you from obsession. Don't drive yourself into that same thing. Let go.
And she looks back at the building. She is like that whole one step and arm reach it took to reach the ring. It's one step outside of the doorway. But already those little flowers have like begun blowing away to ash. The glows are fading. It's the flowers fade. The glow doesn't. It fades briefly and then kind of angrily builds back up in the ash, in just the rubble. And she looks back and looks at the both of you. I haven't seen the flowers in so long. I'm gonna go. And smiles. And yeah, just seems content in this decision and kind of turns and begins to walk.
Anyway, till she, he leaves her go and he'll look down at Jane.
Check the building again.
Set her down on the bench. Just easy go down there and take a couple of steps inside.
Oh, it's still pretty toasty in there. It's not
Lifts
it's
up
not gonna burn you to just step inside, but
Yeah, he just
Ooh.
lifts up there, though, like fanning at himself. It's probably gonna be like that for a bit.
I mean, Worm Taint. Taint might have been the building, not her.
It was probably her, but I'll check. Oh, Jesus! Reveal yourself, Kate!
Reveal your secrets!
while it's very clear that she if anything, the fact of her passing and the patterns in the taint, because you can see a lot of shit right now, she was probably originally the source. To a point. But whatever was latched onto her, whatever was producing that, seems to have been shaken off. But this place is still hellaciously tainted.
Just gets himself up. Oh, you should see it. The Shadow Lord rises like, oh, I see you. You know what I mean? And it starts storming off to get a steak. Oh, we're gonna have ourselves a cleansing.
I'm gonna get a stick.
This kind of slowly rises as you see the thunderous clouds descend over his head. The light hits his face in the right thing. I'm going to get me a stick.
Comes back, Yeah, we'll write a fucking cleansing on this bitch. So much fucking cleansing. I'll spend a willpower. 2 successes. As I start going, oh, you're going to get it, Grandfather Thunder's here now. He starts cleansing around.
You make a very nice start.
Come on, Jane, get up. We have to cleanse this. Grab a stick.
She grabs a stick.
The Terminator music kicks in.
You guys got like a bucket of water you pulled out of one of the puddles and sticks you've broken off nearby trees. Just walking around spraying everything like, be clean!
Comes here, comes in, walks up, Jane looks over in the distance, Anton comes back with a series of sticks like this.
Dun, 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 dun. Now it is time to Shadow Lord.
Oh my fucking god. And let's face it, I assume you guys are going to be there until you've abolished it.
Oh, damn right we are, Katie.
Right. Nothing remains.
In the course of your cleansing, you will at some point see a very lively, very thick puff of smoke whip up out of one of the chimneys and flit off.
There, kill it.
Throw the stick.
Fine, picks up the stick like a spear. It's even more funny with the Terminator music.
But you can absolutely, over a prolonged period of time, cleanse your little hearts out until it's finally clean.
When the last of the worm taint rises, he looks off into the distance and just says, thematically, as the drum beat finally kicks in, it is cleansed.
Dun 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 dun.
Exactly.
As Jane puts a hand on it, as Sarah Connor, Jane puts a hand on his shoulder. It's done.
We march out of there to the sunset.
No,
Cleansed.
we ride out on the bicycle.
Yeah, I don't. The boat
That's how that ends, right?
Yeah.
Fucking this Anton with his pretty on point sunburn on his back, and Jane with one hand that probably you need some gauze or something for that. You need some aloe for that burn.
Yeah, 3rd degree burns on this skin looks like, wow.
You look over at Jane as they're getting back to the car. If you don't want Bill to heal you, sleep in a different form, and that usually begins to fade away. So sleep in lupus.
All right.
That's how I learned how to heal up.
Sounds good enough to me.
We've got another problem, though. A big one.
What's that?
'Cause we got a problem. We've got another problem, though. A big one. 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 Bill not tell you?
No.
There are wolves in the city. Ones that are heavily tainted by the worm.
Oh.
Not a natural bridge. Roanoke. I killed one of them. But there's a pack. I had to jump in the river to evade and lose the scent.
Great.
Keep in mind, good sir, that thing was in Krynos when you killed it, and was in Hamid when you finished.
But you said there were wolves in the city.
That was not a wolf, buddy.
He means himself and the gang. Wolves.
Oh,
Jesus,
Jane understands. Jane gets
Yeah.
it.
sorry,
Jesus,
I thought you
Katie.
were warning him about the thing. I'm sorry.
God. Exactly like us. I dropped that motherfucker in that big war form and he slid right back down to flesh.
Well, it would have been nice to know that, considering I've been shopping in there recently, but yeah. Great. That's what we're going to do about it.
Kill them all.
I like that answer.
We need to figure out what territory they do have and then if they're spreading. We need to understand our enemy. Which means we need to understand exactly what they're like.
Which means?
We need to ask the right kind of questions. So we're going to drive back to the fountain. We're going to ask. We're going to ask about what their patterns are like. We're going to ask about this. Then we're going to hunt them. We're going to study them. We're going to carefully monitor them and see how much is actually in their pack. Once we know that, then we start picking them off. We got to hunt them like they're going to try hunt us. We just got to be one step ahead.
Sounds perfect. So just let me know what you need me to do.
Place we've after taking, I want you to monitor it Umbra-wise. I want you to see what's turning up or what's not turning up.
That I can do easily.
I want you to ask about the spirits in the area about gestures, not us. Like us, but tainted.
Alright, is that all?
For now. It's not
Great.
himself. Let's get you back home before you start complaining. The smart girl rider.
Before I start complaining,
Mm-hmm.
why would I be complaining?
Because you just got your hand burned.
I mean, it hurts.
But you're too serious for pain.
More the fact that we just managed to sort that shit out without killing it. Boom.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of hoping to kill it. Sparking over at it.
Well, how about killing everything isn't always the answer? Jesus, I'm starting to sound like Sage. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, you're starting to sound way too much like Sage.
Don't you dare say that.
You just said it yourself.
Yeah, I'm allowed to say it, because I can immediately stop.
I'll
I'll break your fucking jaw.
What, with your gamey hand?
Yeah, I'll break your jaw with my gammy hand, and you'll know about it.
All right then. Just pat her on the head as he starts up the car. We drive off
Na, na, na.
somewhere.
Into the sunset?
Probably, maybe.
Dun,
Not
dun,
really.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'm assuming we can end it there. I don't know.
I hope to.
Ugh.
Ugh.